What's up? This is Johnny from Hollywood Undead. You are watching Loud TV, bro. Well, I mean, what happened was we just recorded a lot of songs and we didn't want to get rid of them or any of them. A lot of the times we record too many songs, but a lot of them are bad. So we just go, let's get But we had enough songs where we wanted to release them all, and record labels won't let you put more than 10 to 12 songs on an album. So we had to do a double album, and originally the second volume was supposed to come out a month after volume 1. But right when we were actually in Europe, when the whole COVID thing went down, and so when volume 2 was supposed to come out, the record labels were gone. They're closed. Everybody was closed. So obviously we had to wait until things kind of got back to normal where we could start working again. So we had to wait a lot longer than we intended to release volume 2. On the second volume we recorded once we got home from Europe, and we realized that being in a band was not going to happen anymore. No more touring, no nothing. We decided to write some more songs. That's when we recorded with Jacoby from Papa Roach and Spencer from Ice Nine Kills and Tech N9ne, because we said, well, everybody's stuck at home. We might as well work with some people. Well, the guests we only did, originally it didn't have any guests. But then once the COVID thing happened and we were like so fucking bored, we were like, let's work with some other people. Like we couldn't tour, we couldn't go to the studio. So we said, well, all right, let's work with some other people. So that's really how it came about, was only because this whole thing, all the shit that was happening, make the best of it, and wanted to work with for a while. I'm crossing our names, and no one is safe. It's funny, when we started writing, none of this stuff was happening, none of the COVID stuff. But when we went back into the studio to work on volume 2, that was when it was happening. It definitely affected the lyrics because we meant a new era as a band, but now we're in a new era as a world population. So it kind of was like manifest destiny. So it definitely affected some of the stuff on volume 2. Not imagining me dumb in a magazine, thought that you had a dream, but really have a king. But this one is battering, on a missing, traveling, protected by Mazakine. Is Tech N9ne's a metalhead too. He works with Corey Taylor a lot. He does a lot of metal stuff, but Tech N9ne, in my opinion, he's probably the best rapper in the world. You should check him out. He's badass. So I've been listening to him since I was in like high school, early 13, 14. So I've always been a huge fan of his. He really is probably one of the top 2 or 3 rappers in the world. And he liked our band, which kind of surprised me too. But then it kind of made sense because he likes the heavier stuff. And so we sent him a song that I had written called Idol. And he was like, yeah, I want to do this. And I was like, fuck, this is crazy. And then we went out to Kansas City where he lives and filmed a video and all that stuff. He's a really, really nice, cool guy. But yeah, he's one of the best, man. Yeah, no, I mean, it is a good opportunity to kind of broaden your horizons because normally, when we're recording a record, we do it, let's say, a month, 2 months, and then you do all the work, you go on tour. So now with this record, we knew we weren't going on tour. There was no tours. And not only did we had months, as much time as we wanted. So it gives you the opportunity to really kind of expand your horizons because all you have to do is write. There's nothing else to do. So I think a lot of people are like, hey man, I want to work with some different people, do some different things. Cause normally you're trying to hurry up, record the record, give it to the label. They can market it. You go on tour, blah, 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 the whole same shit over and over again. And for once, this is different. We're just releasing music to release music. There is no tours. There's no real anything happening. So it gave us a lot more time in the studio to think about what we wanted to do.
And maybe because of, or thanks to the COVID, maybe we are less individual and more collective.
I hope so. I think about that sometimes because if this whole thing can't bring people together, I don't know what will. You know what I mean? usually when there's a crisis like this, it's usually isolated to one place. You know, it happens here, it's happening there. And of course you go, man, that sucks. That's sad that that's happening to them. But my life goes on. So now everybody in the world is in the exact same position. And I certainly hope that people take that to heart and realize that whether they like it or not, we're all kind of in this together. And hopefully people learn from it. Because if they don't learn from this, I don't know what they're going to learn from.
Do we? Do we actually?
Well, I've learned from it. I can tell you that. All I
Yeah.
can do is take responsibility for myself. But people seem to love to fight. I don't know what it is. So we'll see what happens. But I definitely think I've noticed a difference, at least in the people I know, that I definitely talk to people more. We're more connected than we used to be because we realize that our time is finite and we never know what's going to happen. So you need to make sure you take that into consideration every day and appreciate it. Unfortunately, there are some people out there who want to ruin it for everybody else. I shut those people out. I fuck them. I don't want anything to do with them. And I think it's up to the individual to decide what they do with this.
Yeah, put the work in, cause I can't rely on my luck, no. Yeah, I see you chasing, you're just basic, you're just lame, man. You don't wild out, you don't throw down, so you better stay in your lane, man. I'm always ready for the right time.
Well, myself and, you know, we've had drug problems in the past and things like that. And I think the whole, you know, drugs can easily convince you that everything's okay when everything is absolutely not okay. So what happens is once you stop doing drugs, you realize it's all fucked up. So what you do is more drugs. And I used to live that way. So I would do a lot of drugs. And then if I ever got sober, I would realize my life was a mess. So instead of trying to fix it, I would just keep medicating and keep going like that. Because as long as you stay high, everything seems okay when it's not okay. So medicate is really about people just, you know, you hide from life to get when you get high. That's all you're doing. You're only postponing the end. And I've seen a lot of people die from drug related things and stuff like that. So it's meant to sound like poppy and happy, but the subject is very, very dark in that sense. A lot of, especially young people these days, have a lot of issues with opioids, things like that. And they're all just trying to hide. So it's kind of a wake up call, like, hey man, if you do this, your life's going to go off the tracks and you won't even realize it.
Of course, drugs is a very, very loud problem. But you know, I see a lot of American artists. They say, "Hey, it's a happy sober anniversary for 10 years, 15 years."
Yeah.
The guys from Five Finger Death Punch, or many. You know, is it an American problem? And the drugs are really, really loud.
Well, I think the problem is it's everywhere, but it's much more pronounced in America. A lot of that has to do with our proximity to the drugs, because they usually come up from South America and Mexico, and we're right up against. So they're just much more readily available here. It's very easy to get drugs. When if you're somewhere else, it's a lot harder. You have to know somebody. Here, it's like going to the store. You can get drugs anywhere, and that is a real problem. Because it's just there's so much that's so cheap, it's so easy to get, that I don't know how to solve those problems. But I've certainly been down that road with drugs and stuff like that. And all I can really say is it's definitely not worth going down. There's a lot of pain involved and you're going to hurt a lot of people. So once again, it's up to the individual to be like, this isn't a good way to live. Because the drugs will always be there. It's up to us not to do them, I guess.